Hi, we're back on penny farthings, ordinaries.
Careful.
I was saying we put a little post out last week, and Anna, understandably, and I have no issues at all with it, said, why are penny farthing wheels so big? And not really understanding the inaccuracies that we build into words. I would say a fairly good friend, but somebody I know fairly well, who lives out in France, rightfully put a comment about it, a little bit spiteful, but it doesn't matter. He was absolutely right to talk about things, which brought us back into this idea of conversations about bicycles and what and why and how. At the same time that the comments came through, there was also the news and views for the Veteran Cycling Club came through, and that again was it always reminds you of our interests and why we do what we do. And it's sort of today when you open the news and views up and the Bone Shaker, the first part is the obituary, and there you start looking at these people who you were very fond of. And this month I see Roger Street has passed away, so he's no longer with us. And every month there are large numbers of these doyens of cycling that put so much effort into ensuring that the accuracy was maintained. And in many ways the comments that came were accurate and correct, that we should make sure we keep it right, but we are also trying to make it accessible to people who aren't really within that central hub. But anyway, I went and then opened up the Bone Shaker magazine, and there was a brilliant article there about Glyn Stockdale getting a bicycle back, or a penny farthing ordinary back. And there was a photograph of both Glyn and Nick Clayton sitting down together, looking really rather elderly, which was a shock, because I haven't seen either of them for some time. And seeing particularly Nick Clayton, who put so much work and effort into accuracy of historical content, just accuracy. And then the editor on that one forgave the faux pas because they referred to that as a penny farthing. So what we really come back to is how much can we distort history or distort words to make them accessible without creating something that is demeaning or inaccurate and still inclusive.
I do feel a little bit like it's got its own history, the term. It might not be technically correct.
Of course it has. Of course it has. I mean, ordinary technically isn't correct because they started off known as the bicycle. So, we've discussed beforehand.
It was only ordinary for a short section of time, right?
Well, it was ordinary in a manner of trying to separate it from a safety bicycle.
From the new thing.
From the new thing. So it was the ordinary bicycle. But I've just dug out some early sales brochures, which I'll show you in a second. So when we first start talking about the development of the bicycle, it starts off as a velocipede, the wheel gets bigger, and as it gets bigger, you can technically go faster because there's only a certain sort of speed your legs can pretty much go around. So the longer your legs, the bigger your wheel, the faster you go.
And that was our last video.
That was our last video. Then roll on from there. I've just dug out a couple of my little old books that I've got. So the first one here is a Singer bicycle. Bicycles and Tricycles, Singer, 1885. So at this point, the safety is in the small-wheeled safety bicycle had just begun to make a small bit of inroads into.
For those people that don't know, Singer is the same as the sewing machine, or not?
It's not.
Okay, right. I thought it. Oh, there is quite an overlap.
No, we'll do another one about Singer at some stage. So, okay, right. So here we go.
Not sewing machines.
So Singer. So there we go. So this is 1885, and we are talking about the Singer's Traveller's Bicycle. We are no way talking about what we today see a bicycle. We are seeing what we commonly refer to as a penny farthing. But of course, there was no other bicycle. That was all you could have.
Right.
That was it. So it was a bicycle. They did have safety bicycles. of course, it's a long way to fall for one of these. So a safety bicycle for them were other methods of trying to bring the cyclist further away
Lower.
from the centre point.
Right.
So they had less distance, or they were more unlikely to fall off. So here you can start to see the beginning
like
of
gearing.
what is beginning to look like a conventional bicycle or a modern safety bicycle. We get a chain driving, but we're still driving the front wheel, but we can put gearing onto that. All we now need to do is start moving that to the back wheel, and we start moving in. So that's 1885. Now, if you go a couple of years forward, 1887, so here we go again. Singer bicycles. Now, at this stage, we have at the front of the book, absolutely, at the front of the book, we have still got the standard Singer bicycle, and then we have a safety bicycle, and the simple, difference is it's what we see as a normal bicycle, but it's always referred to as a safety bicycle because, of course, by this stage, we've already established that this is a bicycle. And this is a safety bicycle.
That's a safety bicycle. So then that becomes an ordinary bicycle.
So at that stage, when people start talking about a bicycle, what sort of bicycle do you have?
I've got an ordinary one.
Because this, of course, is an ordinary bicycle.
Right. Yes, it is. But if you don't know, you just don't know. And
no, of course you don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, if you go back to a point when pound, shilling and pence were in common use, if you said a penny and a farthing, it was pretty obvious. You got one big round coin and one small
little tiny one. Yeah.
And today, of course, most younger people from 72 or whenever.
71. Yeah, they got no reference.
They don't even know what a farthing is or a penny is.
Yeah.
So it implies that these things were called penny farthings, and of course, the more you use it, the more common that phrase becomes. But it doesn't mean it is called a penny farthing. It really doesn't even mean it's called an ordinary.
No, it's a bicycle.
This is a bicycle, and something with two small wheels that is a safety machine is known as a safety bicycle.
Yeah.
So kind of, that's...
Yes, it's just whether or not it's accurate, it is actually very helpful for the massive majority of people to understand or have some picture of what you're talking about when you use that nickname, which I understand is just a nickname.
Yeah,
it's quite helpful.
Absolutely. I mean, if you go to America, of course, a penny and a farthing means nothing to them at all.
No.
So they just call it a high wheeler, which again,
it's a high wheel.
It's a high wheel.
Yeah.
But of course, when they were sold originally, they weren't sold as high wheelers because there was no low
it was
wheeler.
just a bicycle. Yeah, got you.
And so it's sort of.
It's a point to debate.
It's a point. I have no, in fact, it's nice that people do comment, even if it's not quite what you want to hear, because at least it shows that people are engaging with what you're talking about. So I don't really have a problem. He carried on and he was talking about the influx of replica ordinaries that are out there. I don't ride one. I would never want to ride one. I have no interest in them.
Yeah.
However, if people want to ride a replica ordinary, fill your boots, mate.
Yeah.
Do what you want.
Yeah.
Don't mistake it with
a real one.
Yeah. And I think they should be separated in events from real ones.
Yeah.
Because there's a massive difference between something that's made in 1885 and something that's made in 2025.
Yeah.
But you get a sort of a feeling of a shared experience as far as the actual
motion
and stuff. But there is something quite extraordinary, I find it so beautiful, the experience of riding a machine that was made in the 1880s.
Yeah, a little portal. Have a quick look at it before we say goodbye.
This is an old Humber. This is quite this came from the Science Museum's reserve collection. It's a nice old thing.
Wow.
It's quite a nice unrestored early bicycle.
And can you ride this one? Is it rideable?
It would be with a little bit of love. It's a bit too small for me. It's up in the air at the moment.
It doesn't look it, does it?
It doesn't look it.
To the untrained, the uninitiated, to the person who might use the incorrect term, it looks very high.
It is a high thing, but they are accessible. In the real world, they're not even a great deal of money. And whatever you spend on one, you'll still be able to sell it for that. And it's a shame that more people don't feel that they should have a go on them. We're going to do a couple of videos, I think, in a while about riding these things and getting on.
We've actually got a cyclist coming to have a cycle with you.
So we're going to have a little bit of a talk about getting onto them and not being frightened of them, treating them with respect,
Yeah.
but actually, using them for what they should be used for.
Well, from this untrained person, thank you. I've learned a lot.
So yeah, look, thanks for comments. Let's keep it civil. We're a very, very, very small world of enthusiastic people. And I'm here to simply try and make that world a little bit bigger. I have no real vested interest. I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm here to try to tell people about things that I find interesting.
Thanks, Jules.
Cheers, guys.